with an upper body injury. Will not play tonight, will not play tomorrow. He's hopeful for next weekend. They expect him back for sure by playoffs, but he is in day-to-day situation, as is Connor Anthorn. So both will be missing from the lineup. Geneseo will probably miss Nate Brown the most.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about J.D. Rasmus having his first game, his first real game. He played against Franklin Pierce, had an assist in that game, but, first actual, SUNYAC, tough real game. And I think they expect him to step up and do exactly what the entire team's done. They talk about their depth is such a huge part of them when they have injuries. They really trust that they have those guys to step in and play good games. Last year, A.J. Scraglio played his first game in this building and played a heck of a game. I think they're excited to see what J.D. can do.
Again, the coaching staff was tenuous in telling us that when we asked Nate Brown's medical situation, quote, "We got better news than we expected."
Yeah.
So that's a day-to-day situation, but they don't expect to have him this weekend. Like you said, A.J. Scraglio came in here and played a heck of a game. Maybe J.D. Rassett, especially with the injury to Matt Lee for the remainder of this season. This could be an opportunity for J.D. Rassett to really make a niche for himself in this lineup for the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Nate Brown. Like I said, I'm sure he'd like to be back here tomorrow. He's also a little under the weather right now, so he's just had a tough weekend altogether. But I think it's a great point. This is a huge game and a real good shot for Rassett to make a spot, kind of open a spot for him to be that seventh man.
Jack Zagorski will center the top line with David Ripple and Zachary Vitt. Tyler Brickler with Stevie Collins and Ryan Standemir. No difference there. Jonathan Soucis with Gary Childeros and Justin Sharpie. Childeros had last Saturday off. He's back in the lineup. And on a line with a little more offensive expectation for him. The fourth line, Carson Shell with Zach Martin and Ryan Donnelly. On defense, Derek Stahl with J.D. Rassett. Matt Hutchinson with Jack Caradonna. Matt Solomon with Cam Hampson. And Nick Horgan getting his third straight start.
I think Nick Horgan's pretty great. Look at his numbers. Look at how he was last weekend against Brockport, making some huge glove saves. Really coming out. He wasn't afraid to attack the Brockport shooters. His goals against is below 2. His save percentage around 92.5. So he's been real solid.
For Oswego will be Mike Montagna with Kenny Neal and David Titanic. Alex Botten with Matt Galati and Sean Holshaw. Chris Waterstreet between Morgan Bonner and Brandon Adams. Chris Carr with Kyle Badham and Christian York. On defense, Stephen Johnson with Bobby Gertzakis. Chris Ragueso with Nick Rivet and Bo Orzer with J.J. Hart. Between the pipes, Justin Gilbert. And Geneseo had a pretty good look at Gilbert last time that Oswego visited the Ice Knights. He gave up 5 goals to his first 2 periods before being pulled.
Mm-hmm.
As the Ice Knights are going to start with the line of Siglarski, Vitt, and Ripple. On defense, it'll be Hutchinson and Caradonna for a little bit of stability. We talked earlier, Rassett being put with Stahl. Stahl's been so steady defensively throughout this season, and Rassett is his first real SUNYAC competition. A good idea by Coach Schultz to put him with a stabilizing presence where, particularly in a difficult building to play in, Rassett will have to do as little as possible. He'll be able to simplify his game and not have to overexert himself as he kind of finds his footing in the early going. And for that reason, Caradonna and Hutchinson will start on the blue line to give Geneseo a good first shift. And again, for Rassett, it'll be important just to simplify things and to get pucks out, essentially. There's this is not the team where you want to experiment, particularly in your first game where you're under heavy pressure.
Yeah, well, that's what we've been talking about, the way this team has played recently. The defensive zone's been ugly. Not ugly. It hasn't been as crisp as they would like it. So I think, keep it as simple as possible. Like I said, for Rassett especially here in a first big game, keep it simple and just make the smart play.
Oswego will start the line of Montagna, Titanic, and Neal with Gertzakis and Johnson. As we're ready for the anthem, everyone's invited to rise to their feet.